Quest updates seem to happen very frequently, and for better or worse, we get things we do and don't want. You remember that whole navigator debacle? But OS v83 is coming with a test version out on the public test channel, and if you don't know what the public test channel is, just Google Quest public test channel and you can join and get early versions of these with or without all the bugs, but the whole point is you help shape the updates to actually come out good. Well, the navigator name is back in an evolved navigator system UI, which is still experimental, but v83 should be rolling to all headsets here soon, including yours if you're not on the public test channel. Although these things roll out very odd. Sometimes you get just a few features, sometimes you get the whole update, and sometimes you get the update without features for several updates. We don't understand how or why Meta does what they do, and we don't understand why they keep skipping these. Like, wasn't v81 the last one? Well, if you know anything about asynchronous time warp, well, they're looking at something called system positional time warp, or the Quest now. Basically, as we know, VR headsets and motion sickness are very common, and they're getting better as headsets can hold more stable frame rates. But basically, before displaying every frame, XR operating systems can rotationally reproject, but with how fast the human head moves from side to side, sometimes the headset needs to be able to rotationally reproject the frames to now match the tiny change in orientation of your head since the frame even started rendering. This is basically done to eliminate any of the latency that you would have noticed when your head turns side to side, although you may notice already certain headsets doing things like this and blurring it as you turn your head. But basically, if the app you're running fails to complete rendering the new frame in time for the next display refresh, the previous frame gets rotationally reprojected further instead of just repeating it. Basically, just all this is try to avoid the judder in your head from turning your head, which will make you sick in VR. Well, now according to Meta, this new system positional time warp will be based more on position and uses real-time scene depth to reduce the visual judder and lag when the app drops frames. Experimental feature, but it can automatically activate when needed and work across all apps with no impact on the performance, supposedly. If you know much about PSVR 2 and their asynchronous time warp and Gran Turismo, this may sound scarily familiar, but basically, all said and done, this should, in theory, make apps run better and smoother and just make your life easier in the Quest and less sick. Although what they tried on the PSVR 2 was making people more sick. We just need more power in headsets and higher frame rates, but what can you do? Temporal dimming is another feature that's being dropped with v82, 3, whatever the heck update we're on now. Well, you might remember before they added a thing called content adaptive brightness control, basically meaning that if your content was going to be darker, the headset would adjust its brightness down so that the darks would look darker and less gray and smeary. Well, now there's a new experimental option called temporal dimming for the Quest 3 and 3S. So this means that during your session, it will slowly dim the headset down to reduce eye strain, extend the battery life, which is needed because we know the Quest 3s are getting worse and worse battery life all the time, and improve the display performance, all without a noticeable impact on your experience. Imagine you're sitting in a dark room watching your TV in your theater room, and it just keeps slowly getting a little darker over time, and you probably don't notice until you walk away and look back and go, why the heck is my TV so dark? But basically, another means to try and preserve the battery life that I think my headset's down to like 80 minutes, the one that I originally had at launch. It also no longer has audio. Why do my Quest 3s always break? Improve scene understanding, and in your Quest 3, you've probably already noticed some of this going on. Little things like where when you switch out of an app now, it kind of like switches to the world of mixed reality, and you'll see things like a person standing in front of you or a table nearby. It actually shows up before the background. Well, for a long time now, we had to do room scans, then we kind of got away from them, not having to make a boundary every time. But basically now with Horizon OS v83, Meta's space setup is going to start understanding more complex architecture, meaning if you're in a house with multiple levels that don't just necessarily go the whole floor or even slanted ceilings and inner walls, it's going to start seeing that. Some other little details, v83 is adding smartphone app login for the web. If you're like me, you have so many Meta accounts and so many things you're always trying to sift through to get everything working. At least, hopefully that's going to simplify it. But basically, you'll be able to log into certain websites via your phone instead of having to always try and remember which Meta login. Can you log in through Instagram? Can you log in through Facebook? Obviously, I'm not bitter at all. And probably not the hugest or most crazy update, and also probably not something a lot of you are even going to notice that much. The boundary settings are also getting simplified a bit, and Meta Quest Link app is now Meta Horizon Link, meaning now not only was the Oculus word on the table and being taken away and the logo, now the word Quest is disappearing too. Quest life. A lot of you show up here for the VR news and you like it, but you might have came here because of the accessory reviews we've done over the years. And a couple to highlight this week that we enjoyed. Prism XR, we showed off their Puppet S1 Lite, an accessory that makes your PCVR streaming way easier, wireless, doesn't clog up your Wi-Fi network, and what's basically a great price on a router that's completely dedicated just to your wireless PCVR streaming. And their Prism XR Carina D1 fast charging dock. We showed that off to you on the channel before as well. If you're rocking your Quest stock and you want to always have your your controller's charged, never worry about them. Always have the headset ready to pick up and go. This thing works super well. And although some of you joke that it looks like a toilet bowl, I know it's one of our big supporters' favorite docks out there. Both these things are just made to make the headset light, convenient, and easy to grab. And on top of that, even though we still had the ones we reviewed, they sent us some more of these in. So we're gonna have to come up with some sort of special surprise to do something with some of you out there, maybe give these away. But if you don't know Prism XR's accessory line, they do have a lot of them we reviewed and liked over time. I'll leave some links down below directly to these and other ones to highlight for you if you need some accessories. Thanks to Prism XR for pushing the boundaries of accessories and making some good stuff for all of us, and thanks to them for sponsoring this week's news. We've been talking to you about this new Hyperscape feature, although it's been out for a minute now. For those of you who aren't aware, basically your Quest can reproduce an entire 3D scene, whether it's in your home, some other place, outside, and you can review it in VR looking very realistic. The only price you have to pay is all of that data is sent to Meta servers, uploaded, and recreated through that. Insert your comments below about how you feel about privacy and all of that. But if you don't want to give up your home and you still want to see how cool this is, well, now you can actually go check out Gordon Ramsay's kitchen, an immersive digital replica of his iconic kitchen, and walk through it. It is kind of neat, and if you haven't messed with the Hyperscape ones before still, even though I've been talking about them forever, you don't have to scan your own. You don't even have to go into the multiplayer of your own scans and bring other people into your cool environments you make with you. But checking this out and seeing how realistic this looks on the Quest is really cool. It's really promising for what they can do. Sadly, Gordon isn't in there yelling at you though.
An idiot sandwich.
Things like Hyperscape take pictures of the real world through Gaussian splatting and recreate all of it in VR, but more and more apps are now being able to do this even with simple things like a prompt or a picture. But Meta AI is demoing SAM 3D, which lets you take a picture of an object and then recreate it just from that one single image through AI reconstruction. And the demo shows things like being able to take a picture of an environment and it recreates all of it. This is similar to something we talked about in the last news called Marble, which could do that, recreate whole environments, and it is filling in some of the blanks here, but it's still wild that you don't have to take the time or the processing to take a whole bunch of pictures, and you can just drop one picture in and have a 3D model of it. Not all of this is applying to VR. Marble is trying to, but the SAM 3D is actually similar to something we saw years ago on SideQuest, and seems like a much more forward version of it. But the idea that you could maybe take like a childhood photo of somewhere you lived, feed it into something, and then walk back through a pretty close version of that in VR is becoming more of a real possibility, and that is crazy. If you watch our videos because you're excited about the world of VR, but you still don't have your own VR headset, we've got a couple of them we're giving away right now. One is partnered up with FitXR, and not a lot of people have entered in that one yet. We also have one on our channel. Lower odds, a lot more people enter that. But if you haven't entered both of those giveaways, check out down in the description below or in the pinned comment. There is links to our link tree, which has both of those going on. FitXR has been doing some awesome work with us. There's a video that we put out recently about what's going on. We're actually gonna get to meet with some of their personal trainers, and it's been treating me really good. I've been doing their app for months now. I've lost some weight. I'm feeling really good and energetic and healthy. It's been really awesome. So yeah, make sure you get entered in those. And those are actual Quest 3s, not the 3Ss, which you've all said you're just not as interested in for some reason. Maybe that's my fault. Some of you have commented you actually sold your Quest 3 already because you are so excited about the Steam frame, and hopefully you sold it for a lot because we still don't have a price on the Steam frame. If you somehow missed that news, Steam is finally back in the game after 6 years since the Index came out, and they have the Steam frame, their next VR headset, which is a wireless but can tether to a PC really easily, or use its Snapdragon 8 to try to play PC games standalone. And now we finally might have a price. Well, price range. They said they plan on it being cheaper than the Index. The Index widely still costs $1,000 even all these years later. Steam is just not one to put things on sale that they have, but that does bring more validity to the rumor that the Steam frame is going to be $800, maybe $899, maybe $950, but supposedly at least it will be under that $1,000 mark. You'd have to sell probably 3 Quest 3s to come closer to actually getting that $1,000, but it's good news for those people who are worried it was going to be over $1,000. It sure does seem like the term AI is creeping up in VR a lot, and Meta Reality Labs has now announced WorldGen, a research stage system for generating fully navigatable 3D worlds from a single text prompt. Imagine saying, make me a medieval village, or make me a cyberpunk town. Meta has been talking about things like this for their Horizon worlds for a while though, where you can just say something and easily create worlds so that builders can pump out more worlds faster, so that you can go in and get screamed at by more kids inside of Horizon worlds. But more and more AI is filling in a lot of these gaps. I'm curious, maybe this is a big can of worms to open, but how do you feel about AI in general? Do you feel like there's a time and place for it? Are you completely against it? Are you completely for it? Is ChatGPT writing all of your papers? I'd love to know in the comments and continue a conversation with you about it down there. As this video comes out, I am over in Europe right now, actually. Headed to the United XR conference over there, seeing what the future of VR brings to all of you out there, and hopefully meeting with some of you there. Although I will be there for a few more days, so it may not be too late. If you were on the fence about coming to United XR, come say hi. Hit me up online if you're over there. I am hoping to hang out with some of you, meet with some of you there. And once again, I just want to say the biggest thank you to all of you. All these years here on the channel, everything we've done, a lot of crazy things are happening here in the studio. You'll get to see more of them as the holiday season goes on. But thank you so much once again to all of you. It means everything to me that you show up here, hang out with us, hit like, comment, now hype, whatever the heck that even means on YouTube. I don't know, but thank you once again, and I'll see you in another reality.